Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to ESN. We're here for coverage for the AWSCO Windows Cup Series. The Cup Series field is here today at South Boston, Virginia, for the second half of this weekend's racing action. Yesterday night, we saw the Continental Series drivers take on this racetrack as well, and today we'll be seeing the Cup Series drivers take on this track in the Camping World 400, which is going to be 400 laps around this racetrack. Joining me here for the pre-race show once again is Liam, who's right here with me. Say hello.
I'm back.
Say hello, Liam. Hello.
I'm back.
There you are. Yeah, you were here with me for the previous race. And for those of you who were watching, that we had a pretty fun race with an excellent finishing run, I think. What did you think about that, Liam?
I mean, the finish last night was incredible. The racing last night, just as good, and with almost double the amount of laps tonight. I'm expecting a great showing from the AWSCO Windows Cup Series field.
Yeah, hopefully with the lengthening of the race from 250 for the Continental cars to 400 here, we'll hopefully see a little bit more strategy. I think possibly a few more incidents. We'll just have to see, I think. But with the race being this long, do you expect this? How long do you expect this? How long do you expect this race to go on for? I think that's one of the first questions.
I mean, the race went about the race went all the way through last night. It was racing from lap 1 to lap 250. And if that's anything to go by, we're going to see racing all the way to lap 400 tonight. These drivers are ready to go. We saw it with the Continental field, and I think with 150 more laps in play, there's going to be more time for lap cars to get in the way, and we know that decided the finish last night. It might make for a great finish tonight as well.
Yeah, management of lap traffic is going to be a very important part of negotiating the race in general. I think you have to be smart around lap traffic. Make sure you don't lose too much time. And at the same time, make sure you're not being too aggressive, and you might see yourself spitting out or causing a caution of some form. Which we didn't see that much of that in the Continental race last night, but we're going to be seeing it a lot more of that in this race. So, is that going to be a concern that you have?
I think lap traffic is going to be a bit of a concern again with more laps for more cars to go laps down. We saw 22 cars finish on the lead lap last night. Depending on how this race goes, it could be more or less. It's going to be down to how you work these, I'm going to say it, absolute boats of race cars around this really tiny track and finding room where you can make it so that you can get around cars that are slower than you.
Yeah, and I think another thing that you have to take into account when you're talking about the Cup Series field is that this isn't a kind of racetrack that these drivers have raced at with these cars yet. I don't think. We haven't really raced at a flat short track. Of course, the Cup Series field raced at Bristol just the previous time around, but that's a very different kind of track. We mentioned that in the Continental race pre-race show as well. So the Cup Series field, these teams and drivers don't have as much experience racing at this kind of track as the Continental cars do. Do you think that's going to play a factor into that kind of, maybe that'll increase the amount of mistakes that we'll see these drivers have?
I think so. I mean, we had mentioned last night the experience that the Continental drivers had running short tracks this season. They had Bristol, they had Irwindale, Nazareth, if you want to count it, even though it's a completely different racetrack to anything we've got on the schedule. Still, that smaller, more confined space that you're racing in. The ladies in the Cup Series really haven't had that yet. They've been racing road courses. They've been racing the big tracks. This is the first time they've really had to touch a short track outside of Bristol, and Bristol's its own beast as well. So it's going to be a unique challenge for this Cup field to really manage a track this small with cars this big, and it's going to be real interesting to see how they handle it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something we have to look at this race. Just that kind of lack of experience that we that some of these drivers have. Of course, that hasn't really stopped these drivers from performing. We have a lot of drivers from all sorts of diverse backgrounds in motor racing. So I think these drivers are going to have the skill set that'll let them at least adapt on the fly and learn on the job, as some people might put it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a night of learning for everyone, and they got a lot of laps to learn. So class is in session.
Yeah, and with that, we'll take a look at the starting grid for this race. Our front row consists of the number 64 of Jocelyn Nihale, so that's got a Honda for, is it Atlantic? I think it's Atlantic Racing on pole, and then you have Janet Parkins in the 72, another driver that's done pretty well so far this season. Parkins is sitting pretty decently in points, I think. I'll have to double check.
Actually, I'm gonna scroll
Sitting
way
in the
back
top
for a
five in
second. I
points.
want to.
So that's two drivers who have been really good in the standings. That's our championship leader and fifth in the standings, starting up front. Those are two drivers that have had good results all season. And I should say Nihale's pretty much able to get results at any kind of track, basically. I think you can say the same about Janet Parkins. These are two drivers that have been grinding out results at all types of racetracks, and not entirely surprised to see them up front, I think.
I mean, if you wanna really mention tracks that these drivers have run that would lend experience to this kind of racing, I think the only track that really has any sort of similarities to South Boston would be the Daytona backstretch for the Clash. That was something I couldn't bring up last night because the Continental field didn't run there, but the Cup field did, and that's a completely flat short track, but it was the closest thing that we really had to a short track like this all season long, and we saw how chaotic that could get. So
Oh yeah, of course.
be really interesting.
Yeah.
And
Can't neglect to mention.
I was trying to find the starting grid for that race to see how we could compare drivers and see who's up front here, who was up front at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean that race was. That race, I mean, the passing in that race was very much at a premium. It's very difficult to pass, especially up front, at the lead. And I think one of the things that separates the backstretch from this track is that I think it is a little bit easier
Banking.
to negotiate with lap cars at the backstretch, at least. I think there's just a little bit, that extra little bit of room, especially on the corners. You just force cars wide. There's so much room in the corners at the backstretch. There really isn't that here at South Boston.
I think as well, banking is another big difference between here and the backstretch. Again, I'm trying to compare it. It's comparing apples to oranges, really, but apples and oranges are both fruits, so at least we're comparing something. The banking here, while it is lower than a place like Bristol, it's still enough that you can move up and down in the different lines. Where at the backstretch, you got to be on the inside, and then really widen that corner out to get a run, because you don't have any way to sort of carry momentum.
Yeah, another pattern that we saw in the Continental Series races, you'll see this in the broadcast later on, but on the outside of turn 2, you'll see that gap outside, that kind of access road. The wall kind of just keeps going straight, and that kind of creates a bit of a tank stopper moment where cars often go wide, and instead of meeting a wall that's angled around where they are, they kind of meet in at a weird angle to a wall that's basically straight on, basically like that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last night in the Continental race, and it'll definitely set your car off, at least in the short term. At least we saw the 77 last night hit the wall early on in the race and still managed to pull out a pretty decent finish. So it's not a race ender if you get into that flat wall coming out of turn 2, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. Definitely something to watch out for to not beat up your car too much, especially with this long race we got tonight.
Yeah, this is a short track, and beating and banging is kind of the name of the game here. We saw that in the Continental Series race. I'm sure we'll see plenty of that here in the Cup race as well. But yeah, these cars, of course, do have a limit, and we'll see if the limit is similar to the Continental cars, or maybe they can take maybe a little bit more beaten banging. We'll just have to see as time goes on. Anybody else catch your eye on the grid here, Liam?
Hold on. I go back to the grid. It's been a minute since I've been in the booth for a cup race, so let me scroll back. I gotta get the sheet open if you wanna
Yeah,
sort of tell me who you're
out the
looking at.
27 of Nietzsche Garnstone. Garnstone's another driver that's up high in the standing, sitting in third place, and that's exactly where she starts, on the inside of row 2, third position. A lot of the drivers here that are starting up front are drivers that have been doing well in the championship so far, which is an interesting observation I think I've made so far. In terms of the top 5, the two remaining drivers, Alacantes and Vukovic, are also on the inside. They're sitting just at the edge of the top 10. Alacantes on 9th and Vukovic in 11th. So again, all 5 of the cars in the top 5 in the standings are starting within the first 11 positions of the field.
Yeah, I mean, Jocelyn Isle is what I'm looking at. She hasn't really had a chance to show her stuff at the short tracks yet. She's on pole for this race, finished 11th in the Clash, 3rd in her heat back at Daytona, but wrecked out almost immediately at Bristol, so hasn't really had a chance to show everybody exactly what she can do on these short tracks. Being on pole, especially at this track, as we saw last night, that early run gives you a real chance to show what you're made of up front. If she can defend, I think she can hold on to a pretty solid position for the rest of this race.
Yeah, and finally, I'll just mention the winner of that Daytona backstretch race, Sophie Chantose in the 26, who in the last few weeks didn't have the greatest start of the season, but in the last few weeks has been picking it up, and that's culminated in a top 5 in our most recent race at Bristol. So she's starting up in the inside of row 13th. That'll be 25th place. That might be a driver we'll have to look at as the race goes on. Any last words before we send it over to the booth, Liam?
I mean, before we get to the last words, I do want to touch on what you said about the 26. She's been good at short tracks. She won the Clash, top 5 at Bristol, so she's been one of those cars that's been really strong at short tracks. And we saw last night, starting 22nd, starting 24th, doesn't matter where you start, as long as you can get a decent run and get through the traffic, you can have a shot at the win when we get to the finish. So again, I agree with you. It'll be really interesting to see the 26 sort of climb through the field.
Yeah, and not to mention she has the top 10 at Phoenix as well. So it's another kind of racetrack where this kind of racing might be, that kind of experience might be useful.
Just for last words, it's going to be a great night of racing. 400 laps. Plenty of ups and downs we're going to see. It was a great race last night. I'm expecting that and more tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking
should
forward
be a great
to
show.
it. Hopefully you guys at the audience enjoy it. And with that, we'll send it over to Echo as Eddie joins her in the booth for the we'll head it over to them, I should say, for the pre-race the starting. I've completely lost track. The starting lineup and the engine command.
All right, and welcome to South Boston Speedway here in South Boston, Virginia. We're here in the south of Virginia in short track country for the first real flat track of the season. Second short track below a mile this year, but the first one that doesn't really have a ton of banking like Bristol does. I'm joined by Eddie Debs in the booth. Hello, Eddie. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be calling another Virginia race. Yes, I do call Bristol a Virginia track. Deal with it. Yeah, I love short track country. I love being able to be around for these mid-Atlantic / South races, kind of in this area. You know, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia, Tennessee to an extent, is kind of, you know, area I've grown up. So really nice to be back in what I can say is not a home track. I'd call Richmond that, but definitely a track that I have a lot of respect for and that I like being around. Have some memories of this track. A friend of mine had the most infamous moment of his career, will likely stay that way at this track. So yeah, it's a track with a lot of meanings for me. Glad to be able to call a race at it. Glad to be able to call a cup race here.
Yeah, Well, we'll get that race started very soon, and we're gonna show you the starting grid. Row 1, the 64 of Jocelyn Nahale is alongside the 72 of Janet Parkings. Two very solid short track drivers. Parkings pretty much would be considered an expert on these kind of tracks. She's run modifieds up in the north. This is a very famous modified track, so it'll be fun to see what those two can do. Row 2, it's the 27 Nietzsche Garnston and the 6 Jamie McJasmina, who still yet to score a top 10 this season. Row 3, the 22 Andrea Davison and the 55 of Bria Delade. Row 4, the 13 Yania Waterton and the 39 Lily Talberson. Row 5 is the 18 of Periala Cantes and the 2 of Isa Ijavida. Row 6 is the 62 of Halas Jukovic and the 82 of Pace Lanieria. Row 7, the 23 of Yappy Malikson and the 8 of Lowry Schliesenbach. Row 8, the 99 Marisha Vebels and last week's winner, Cynthia Rarestone in the 32. Row 9, the 91 Alicia Byrne and the 9 of Carly Byrne. Row 10, the 17 Eliza Evergreen stepping in for Dara Reister once again this week alongside the 10 of Audie Stoneman. Row 11, the 1 of Alicia Vancy and the 38 of Youngwei Koo. Row 12, the 16 Sky Angetta and the 15 of Tabrizia Tolaron. Row 13, the 26 of Sophie Chantose, the Clash winner, alongside the 19 Arlen Handstrom. Row 14, the 92 Michele Yatica and the 21 of Amani Wandayo. Row 15 is the 52 Rachel Cole and the 34 of Mika Harina. Row 16 is the 98 of Ava Ajarsaraj and the 46 of Yanfi Yanaga. Row 17, the 93 of Rinia Tosima and the 3 of Mimi Barino. Row 18, the 60 of Amory Wesco, the 31 of Taylor Happerman. Row 19, the 96 Angeli Rugatino and the 20 of DeGabby Abriola. And at the back is the 42 Meka Gennaro and the 71 of Abby Little. So, you got any expectations for this race? You know, we saw a very wild race last night. Do you have any expectations as for what we'll see tonight?
Well, last race was wild. It was great. I would hope to see something a little bit like the same today, except there's a little problem in that today is Friday the 13th, a day that we all, I think, know well to be a day where a lot of strange things can happen. So I'm going into this race with zero expectation because with how this day just sort of works, anything could happen. We could see last to first, we could see someone turn into, their own slasher movie villain taking out drivers, we could see someone pull off a huge upset tonight in terms of where they are in the point standings, someone basically qualify themselves in to the playoff. We could see a whole lot. And I'm going to hope it's just as good as the Continental race, but given the situation, I'd say we're probably going to be in for something more like a wreck fest. That's my own thoughts.
All right, well, the pace car is getting ready, is pulling off, and we will see Nihale and Parkings lead them to the green flag. Once again, they are on the full pace lap here instead of the half. And that actually gives a boost to the driver on the outside lane usually on these starts, but sometimes it gives them a little too big of an advantage. We'll see if Parkings can take it. We'll see if Parkings can take hold of it here. Pace car pulls off. Here we go. Green flag. We're racing. And the 72 got a great jump.
Whoa.
I guess Nihale didn't see the race last night because that same thing happened with the 11 of Takamoto Aya. On the outside, got a great jump, and that's let Parkings grab the lead here in the opening stint. Three wide further, a little further back.
Watch yourself,
Alacantes looks under Waterton.
Saved it, but they're keeping things together. I forgot when the first caution was in Continental, but
It was around
Ooh,
lap
as
50.
Jasmina goes up the racetrack. Yeah, so I think they could survive a lot longer here than they did at Bristol, but we will have to see. But Janet Parkins was just gone. And looking like these lap times are correct. She's holding a good lead. This is the battle. 13 just trying to get up in front of the 22.
13's gonna grab that. Is gonna clear Davison.
On a side note, I thought that Mick Jasmina was gonna lose out to 4th, but apparently got ahead of the 27.
Yeah, she was able to.
Carson Stone, so that's gonna help her out, I think, and keep into the top 10. But yeah, right now it's a couple of these guys just trying some interesting lanes. Some of the inside lane drivers are not entirely pulling inside as we saw from the one there who got the run. We still have free wide. People are figuring it out. This might be better. Where's who's gonna keep it off?
It's a bit crammed.
Oh God, that's sketchy.
Bit crammed, but they're making it work for now. See Marisha Vebbel's making up some good ground here as she's in 9th, getting past. She's passing Alicia Byrne for the 9th spot. Jukovic battling with Davison back here. Alacantes has slipped back behind the 13 now. But Janet Parking so far, showing off her short track experience. She's led every lap all of the 10 laps we've been able to run so far here from South Boston. As we see Alicia Vancy try to take a spot away from Alicia Byrne.
Wouldn't it be, I don't want to say this too early, we're only 12 laps in, but wouldn't it be ironic if the driver from Boston, Massachusetts takes a win at South Boston? Someone will be getting a good chuckle up here in the, not in the booth, but just up here in general. I think that'd be a great win for Janet too. Team Flurvent, highest driver for Team Flurvent so far this season, but no wins yet. 4 top 10s, but no wins.
I believe she's one of only two. She's one of only 2 drivers. Whoa, there's a spin. There's been a spin up here. The 72 lost it.
Boy.
It was the 20 of Gabriella that went around, and the 72 lost it trying to not run into her. That's a bit strange. We stay green though, as Parkins and Nihil now fight for the race lead.
That was it as, oh boy, they are side by side. I don't know if we're gonna have to look for the runs here. I mean, I think that was just straight up, Janet's spotter might have gotten her in a bit of a panic, just saying that there was a spin in front and that she had to prepare for it, and she might have prepared a little, it's not
this
the
is a
best
very small
in terms
track.
of getting ready for it.
4/10 of a mile.
Now she's got a little bit of damage. Oof.
And damage doesn't really matter that much. We saw Naomi Davenport yesterday.
Well,
she had a good bit of hood damage, good bit of side damage, and still ended up finishing in the top 10.
I mean, and if you're Janet Parkins, you drive modifieds. I mean, heck, she could probably drive this car to the win with no hood at this point. Yeah, these, I mean, I just look like, now I don't want to stay stuck in a stalemate, but neither of these drivers can really get, like, the
Parkins is getting just really, really good runs off the high lane.
Yeah.
Nihil's really good. She's pulled down, but Parkins is just able to roll the top really well. Finally, I think the 6-4 is going to have the lead at the line. And that will be a lap led for Nihil.
Basically, Ford might have to push her a little bit up the track. You can hug that line, but that's not going to give you the run. She might need to not give 72 anywhere to breathe coming off the corner, and that would give her the run she needs to pull out in front here, because, I mean, albeit as I say that, the 6 hasn't really gained any time to them as the 6 goes high now.
Well, the 6 can't exactly do much at this point. They're side by side. Every lane you could take is blocked off.
64 is getting something here, though.
64, I think, is finally going to be clear. Unless Parkins is able to pull back up on the outside. A little bit of contact there, but Parkins just barely kept outside. Finally, I think she's going to drop back in here.
Just like that. Nihil to the lead.
Nihil is going to get to the lead, and she's going to be clear for it right now. How long
Looking
is
into the
that gonna
top
be this?
10, Alicia Vancy started on row 11, granted on the inside, but now she's up to the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fastest lap, but she has definitely been moving up.
Fastest lap right now is actually the 6 of McJasmina, and she will take this spot away. She's going to try to get by Parkings. You know, an interesting thing to note is that Abriella is actually Parkings' teammate, so...
Ooh, that's going to be an interesting conversation in the garage.
I mean, I don't know if I don't think that was really Abriella's fault.
No.
Well, what Parkings did.
We will see. We will certainly have to see. Miss McJasmina in the best spot she's had for a win so far this season.
She's trying to get past
She hasn't even
the
finished
72.
higher than 13th. Her best run was at Willow Spring, so...
She drove through the field at the end of the race in Denver, but had to pit because she was short on fuel. And now the 27 trying to get underneath the 72. Garnston trying to pass Janet Parkings here. See Waterton fighting with Alicantes. Alicantes, I think, is going to get around on the top side.
That's a big win.
As yeah,
Sounds
now Nihil's run into the lap traffic here.
Yep.
Liam, what's happened to the 72? Do you know?
Yeah, it was Janet got into a panic when the spotter told her to avoid an accident that happened in front of her. It ended up clearing up before she even got to it. Damage on that car. She's feeling some vibrations. Pit crew's telling her, crew chief's just telling her to take it easy for now. Don't lose too many positions, but don't push the car too hard and try and break it any further. They're gonna fix it on pit road when they come down later in the race.
McJasmina up to second, and she's closing in on Nihil very quickly right now.
Suddenly, Gabby Abriella might be trying to keep the 64 behind her to let 72 at least maybe get a little bit closer, although doing a pretty bad job at that as it is. And oh, look, teammates waving hi at each other, 32 and the 64.
Yeah, the 32, Cindy Rarison, who obviously last week's winner in Bristol. This is a much different race for her.
Absolutely. She was row 8, too.
Give me 1 second.
We have had a problem with one of our cameras. But back to normal. Thank goodness.
32
yeah.
has been lapped by the 64. 6 cars up here.
$38. Relatively clean lap. There's the 72 goes down.
72 is pitting. Well, evidently the damage must have just been too much for her to handle.
Yeah.
And the 72 will abandon her position.
Really unfortunate, but then again, she's about 30 points above the cut lines right now, so...
That's not an unrecoverable...
Nope.
I mean, that's not unrecoverable this early in the race. You know, she could probably make that up, as that these lap cars are going 3 wide in front of the leader.
Rugatino, look out. Backed up, though. 27, oh god, Rarestone. I can't tell if that was Rarestone not giving Garnstone any space, if Garnstone just decided to put her car right.
I think Garnstone just got a little loose in the corner. Had to catch it. Almost slid into the 32, but that's what happens at a short track like this. Well, Jocelyn Nihil at the front of this field now. And she's led ever since Parkings gave the lead up.
Yeah.
After she ran into the inside wall.
Really close to Rugatino there. Right on Rugatino's bumper. Is this a bump and run moment? No.
And she's thinking about it.
Definitely. The question is this a point where a caution would help the 64? Because I mean, realistically, everyone probably comes down for pits, but at the same time, AWSCO officials, it's up to them whether they wave around the lap cars to get them out of the way.
Well, they will.
Or
There was that issue yesterday where they didn't give Lexi Rockwood the clearance to wave around, but they've said that that was just a mistake.
interesting. Now they're too wide in front of them, the 46 and the McDonald's car. I saw
That's the
McDonald's,
10.
that's all I saw. Ah,
That's Audie
Buddy
Stoneman.
Yep.
The 6 of McJasmine is closing in on Nihale, but just can't do anything right now.
Kind of feel bad for Gabriella though, stuck all the way back here. I mean, for a driver, this is probably for a driver being the closest to this race. I mean, Hartburg, South Carolina is not that far from here. You gotta believe she wanted to do better at this track, and if she's not doing. I mean, if it wasn't for Janet Parking, she'd be dead last. So, unfortunately for Az, whoa.
Yeah, Parking's is 40th right now, 2 laps down, but they did fix the damage on that car. Lap car going underneath the 64.
If the 6 can get under, Nick Jasmina might have got the lead, but she needs to get under Fleisenbach, and Fleisenbach not letting that. Oh, as soon as I say that. Soon as I say that.
PJ got down.
Now the 64 is going to have to fight by the 96 again, and that's going to mean Mick Jasmina might be.
18's closed up here, so is the 27.
Oh, yes. Where did.
Alacantes is
really
back
did
up
look
here.
like.
You see Nietzsche Garnston in 4th. You know, we got a couple other cars kind of closing in towards the front of the pack as well, in Waterton and Vebelst as well. They're kind of making their way up here. 6 slips wide, but so does the 18.
I mean, the big stuff so far is Vebelt and Vancey. I mean, Vancey started outside the top 20, but I mean, for Vebelt.
Gabriella's down the pit road now.
Ooh. Well, that makes sense. Get out of the way. Some of these drivers, I just had a thought. Some of these drivers might be pitting because I think the biggest danger zone right
Well,
now are the cars.
The 20 had damage, so.
Oh. Wow, that makes sense.
Well, remember that the 2 cars that have pitted are the 72 and the 20, which are 2 of the cars that had a fair bit of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now the 20 is back in 40th, so. Parking's is not last.
And she will get a lap back if there is a caution, but.
If she's able to cycle in between these
That's
leaders,
fair,
which.
Yeah.
Here we go, we got a fight. Here comes McJasmina.
Ooh, here she comes. Whoop.
She got down to the inside, just barely got to the inside on Nihale.
Nihale gave her space. And. Oh, is the 96 and the 10 are having some fun in front of them.
McJasmina trying to get clear. She did lead that lap, so that gives her a bonus point. And McJasmina gets around. She's clear of Nihale, and Gianni McJasmina now out front at South Boston. So we're almost 60 laps into this thing. Still yet to see a yellow flag in this one.
Wonder how long that'll last. Oh boy, the 6 did not have a good entrance there. That might, but nope.
I think what's hurting her is that the cars in front of her are going side by side.
Oh, whoa. That looked like Rigatino was going to turn Stoneman right in the wall.
Battle for second. Here comes Alacantes.
Oh, Alacantes.
I think Nihale might honestly be fading a little bit in this later part of the run. This is kind of uncharted territory. The longest run we had really in the Continental race was about 60 laps. So this is pretty much uncharted territory for the drivers on these tires and everything. So I think you can go about 170 or so laps on fuel.
I forget how fun it is. Again, I think you said it earlier, whipping it around South Boston. Because, and they do look like some of these cars just coming off the corners are going to slip and slide and get themselves into a wreck. And, you know, we probably missed one in the end. But then they don't. And it's just, you know, showing the experience really here of these drivers that they can survive just a little bit of, you know, snake movement coming out of the corner.
We've got a fight for second
Nihil
here.
and Alicantes.
Nihil
Yeah.
trying to take that away from Alicantes once again.
I have to say, I really did think Alicantes was going to be farther back, closer to 10th by this point, but she put that car where she needed to be, probably got down to the inside, and maybe she has a fast car. She might. We will have to see.
mean,
Who
they're
does have
certainly-
fastest laps so far?
The NordVPN fastest lap right now belongs to Gianni McJasmina in the 6.
Yep. And Alicantes second.
Alicantes, Davison, Vancy, and Alicia Byrne make up the rest of that
Ooh.
grid.
Mm.
And I mean, there's 35 cars still on the lead lap. It's just really tough to lap cars here.
Yeah. I think the 6 is really learning that right now. Just
But,
like Liam said in the beginning, learning process, and people are learning right now.
I mean, she's already got a pretty big lead. She's got about a second lead now, but Nihil's closing in once more, but that kind of is because of lap traffic. Nihil actually lost time that lap. Andrea Davison is moving up positions. She just took 5th away from Yania Waterton. We see Vebels being battled by Haistlin Yuria in the 82, although Vebels will get clear of that fight. Yeah, there is still a lap car. There is still a car in between McJasmina and Nihil, which that's key right now. You can get a car in between you and the car behind.
Oof. I've noticed that Nick Yasmina has been going high in a couple of these last couple of corners. I don't know if it's an attempt to get around Stoneman or if it's just trying to follow the draft. But that could become a problem, especially if this run goes later, because I think the other cars behind her have a lot better. You see here she hugs that inside lane. Some of the cars behind her, like Nihil, who is catching up to Rugatino here, have a little bit of a better, can like hug that yellow lane more consistently, and that might end up not benefiting Nick Jasmina.
Well,
when
the
it
thing with
comes
the high
down
lane
to-
is you get better exits,
Mhm.
but sometimes it'll cost you corner speed by going up top.
Ooh.
But McJasmine has been doing all right there. You can see the tire fall off. There is still a decent amount of tire fall off right now.
Mhm.
And Alicantes is starting to close in. It's the sick. It's just very hard to get around lap cars here. That's
Yeah.
just kind of how it is. Been very clean racing so far, though. The only incident was that 20 spinning on the back straightaway, and that didn't even cause a yellow flag. So, very long green flag run to start this race. And it's Gianni McJasmina who's out front in the lead in the 6 car, but for how long she can hold that is to be seen, because the 64 is closing in. There's some contact between some cars up a little further ahead.
Suddenly, here comes the 18. They're all on each other now.
Yeah, the 18's up here now. Alicante is trying to take second away from Nihil. McJasmine is just kind of stuck on the outside right now because the 96 won't get out of the way. Now I think McJasmine will finally... she tried to get down to the bottom, but she couldn't do it. Here comes the 18.
Yep. All of a sudden. How fast is but the question is, how fast is Alicante is going to get clear of McJasmina? Might be. That's in the least leader a lap, and
Got
she
by
might be
right
gone.
there.
That was much faster than earlier. So yeah, I think the tire fall off once you do get on that outside lane with someone charging on the inside, you are likely not keeping that position for very long.
Here comes the 64 now for second.
Yep. People are gonna have some words
Alicante's
with
going to finally
Bruggettino.
get underneath the 96.
Oh, 96 went way wide there. We'll keep it off the wall though.
You know, shockingly, it's been an even cleaner race than we saw yesterday in the Continental Series.
Yes, Friday the 13th doesn't really affect a lot of these guys.
Ooh, tight
I may have been
there. You almost jinxed it right away.
I almost did. That would have been absolutely hilarious.
McJasmine
Keith
tried to get
Oscar
underneath
right
Nihale. You can
Yeah,
hear them.
Alcante's
They are really slowing down.
Air conservation. Tire whisperer. Drivers
They're
are
just
either
trying to
pulling-
keep they're just trying to keep the tires in as decent a state as possible.
Mm.
I mean, we've gone only 90 laps, but I could see some kind of failures starting to occur in the near future. Because these tires haven't really been tested this long.
Looking at the lap times, it doesn't seem like much else is happening outside this top three. I guess Rugatino. Big thing is getting around Rugatino, who's been quite a
Davieson's
roadblock.
moved up to-
Davison is
Davieson's up to 4th, and she's kind of caught a little bit of this group. Garnston is in 5th. Waterton, Vevelst. That make up the rest of that top 7. And then you'd have to go back to Giria, Vancy, and Jukovic. That's the rest of the top 10.
speaking of some Mile. Time to talk about teams.
Whoa.
Oh boy, 64. What was that? They're going through.
That was on the 6th. The 6 dive bombed it 3 wide underneath the 64. And she backed out of it,
Okay.
exiting, but that was very tight.
Mason Parker Motorsports having an interesting day. Hanstrom here. Got Alicantes. Side by side. One of them probably about to be put a lap down.
Well, one of them's the leader, so
Yeah. Not a bad day, but certainly probably some team radio working together to get get the 18 through. Let the 19 be a bit more of a problem. And that 19's tires are in a way, because some of these runs have been a bit farther outside than we expected, and now the 18 is, and some of these just seem like, the problem is right now when I see them go that far wide, I'm thinking that that's the tire wear fall off. I don't think it really is. The 64 got really low to that yellow line there.
yeah, she wanted to get
Yeah,
by the
around it.
96 no matter what, no matter which way. Oh, there's been a spin on the front straightaway.
Tennessee,
Caution.
Oh, and Alicante's got into somebody.
No, she didn't. I think she's fine. It was a little bit ahead.
Looked like she did.
No, the jam up happened a little further ahead of her.
Oh, they might be having behind her now. Problems in turn 2, I think. Yep.
I don't know
guys,
what's going
keep it
on
together.
here, but
I think the 92 wants to hit. Yep.
well, I mean, she's pitting regardless.
Yeah.
Well, it took us about 100 laps to see that caution come out, but it came out.
if they can figure out for the front. 52's got damage. Holy stack it.
We're gonna figure out who the free pass is once everybody comes down pit road because I was having issues with that in the other race. Liam, what you got on pit stops?
I mean, it's 4 tires and fuel for everyone. A fresh start, 100 laps into this race. We're a quarter of the way through, and these teams are going to finally get a chance to readjust, make changes based on what they've seen so far. And we got a bit of a jam up coming out of pit lane, but should clear up before we, as they get back onto the track here.
Oh, the 18
Or
ran into the
not.
46.
Yep, it's pure insanity. 38. 10. Oh, you're gonna have a lot of crumpled front ends after this. Where'd the 91 come from? That was not 91, that was the 97.
That's the 91.
No, it is the 91.
There is no 97.
Alicia burned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the damage on the 18 is too severe.
No.
Well, she's coming back in, so
Or, yeah.
check
That's
that.
gonna mean the 6 is up front now.
6 is the leader. Well, let's see what happened to cause the yellow flag to fly. Oh no, the 18 did run into that. Okay.
Not crazy.
Well, it appears it was the
Ooh,
72 of Janet
Oh
Parkins.
boy.
Got hooked around by the 31 of Happelman. And a bunch of these
Happelman.
cars just all stopped trying to not get into her. And a lot of this group just could not slow down in time.
We need to toast them up. Hotting it, and then
71 should be on the lead lap. 71 should be the free pass car here. Once she comes out of the pit lane. And Jetta, Gennaro, Cole, there was a major sack up of some sort that happened on the pit road. So the 18's retired.
Is retired.
18's out of the race from that. Wow.
Oh, look out. What a great run, just undone by whatever the pit road is here.
Sorry, what is the 2 doing?
What did Isha Vita do this time? Okay then. Something must have broken.
I think she's trying to line up, but it's being really strange. Alright, Liam, what do you got for us on pit stops?
I mean, a bunch of cars got stacked up, a lot of damage, and a bunch of these cars just can't continue. We saw that second round of cars coming down on pit lane. A bunch of drivers got out, and that was all she wrote for, say, around 10 cars. Maybe less, maybe more, I don't know. Rough day for those drivers, though, especially the 18 who was leading before that caution came out, now done for the day. So we're going to go green here. I'll hand it back to you guys.
Green flag. McJasmina leads. The 55 technically got credit for leading a lap because she came to pit road with 1 to go. And because of how this pit road is aligned,
Might have had a speeding penalty, but 13 right to the bottom.
no, that would, I don't think that would have been a speeding penalty because she pitted with, like, right as we were about to go green. As the 39 to 23.
39's down too.
I think the 2 might have gotten a penalty on the for being out of line on the restart. Maybe the 20 might have had that as well. So 39 was penalized. McJasmine out front. This is a mess.
Wide. What the heck?
parking's 3 laps down right here, going 3 wide with these cars. She wants to show that she still has the pace to lead this race. But she's got a lot of ground to make up if she's going to get anywhere close. As McJasmine now out front, Waterton in second, Nahale, Vebelst, and this car is 5th with Alicia Byrne. This modified.
Oh, and it might
Out
get a
at the
little
front.
bit weirder because the 22 is coming onto the track.
22 out of pit road. She was in the top 10 beforehand, so I'm not sure if that was a... I'm not sure if she had some kind of incident under the pit road in the pits, but
15-second tires.
Caution
we got
is
another
out.
yellow.
Vancy, 10th place
that
car,
was really slow.
has hit hard under the wall.
Bria Delade.
Delade.
Delade, you're right. Dang. And Gabriella
I don't know what the 20 is doing.
has had a day. Her day continues. Can't call it a good one. Can't entirely call it a bad one. Just kind of a day.
93 car is the free pass. That's Arena Tosima. And she's just
and
spun
the
the 22.
just got spun by the 93. That's going to be some... might want to start deploying security. That's probably going to end up being some angry words being thrown around. That's weird.
Well, the one of Felicia Vancy had a major impact. We'll see what happened to her, but
Just... Oh,
26.
the 20.
Oh!
Oh, my God.
26 got spun. I think the 26 was trying to come to the pits.
Jose tried to pit, got spun, and who was it again?
That was the 98. 98 just didn't know she was coming down.
Jarsaraj, yeah. And Vancy is in the worst spot ever, and just that car was off the ground when it hit. So yeah, that hurt. That hurt a lot. And where's the 22 now? We saw her get spun. 82 now is damaged.
Is the 22 out of the race? No? No, she's still running.
No.
Oh, there she is.
There she is. Okay, didn't drop too far. That's the 93 screaming around the pit lane.
Yeah, for whatever reason, there's no speed limit on that part of the pit lane, and I'm not sure why. It's just there just isn't one.
AWSCO officials really interesting in these races.
All right, well, lights are out,
regardless.
so we're gonna. That means they're gonna start waving around.
How much of the pitters do you think is just straight damage repair? I'm imagining it's almost all of them.
Probably most of them.
I don't imagine anything else other than maybe messing with fuel at some point.
I don't know what they're trying to do here. The 8 is just not taking her spot. Yeah, let's try something here. See if letting the pace car pick the field and back up will help. Will fix this.
Just fix the 8.
Yep, there we go. There we go.
Urban Enterprises. I guess it's not a surprise that they would have some issues cycling their car around. Haven't been the most. Yeah.
Here we go. The green flag is out. As those cars did get waved around, so green flag is out. McJasmina continuing to lead. Waterton, Nihale, Vebelst, Byrne, and WESCO,
Oh,
I believe, got
speeding
penalized.
Angela Rugatino just is now in the top 10.
Yeah, the 96 is up here.
Oh, that's ooh, and another and
93's on the
93.
pits.
Ooh,
91.
91 is down. What is happening? Can't tell if this is just damage repair or just people are really bad at figuring out where the place to start is.
Well, you can't pass to the inside. I think those ones might have been damage repair though.
Yeah.
99 going for third on Nihale. And Vebels will take this spot away from Jocelina. Nihale is the 64 was really loose on corner exit there.
92 has Yataka's Gleasonbach. Okay then. Early, I don't think.
I mean, there's not really much. There's not really anywhere else you can exit out of the pit lane. So.
Nope. But this might be a problem.
They're bouncing off each
Ooh,
other.
they're
The
bumping
19,
and banging.
19 really slid the 27 up the track. That's actually a battle for position between the 19 and the 27. The 19 takes it away. So that's 7th for the 19 of Handstrom.
Great.
I think the 93 is actually pit looping.
Unfortunate. I mean, that's just Mason Parker Motorsports.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's been a day for them at least, after what happened to Alicantes.
The 93 is not Mason Parker.
Oh, I thought you said 91, but or 19. I might be stupid. Not gonna lie.
It's okay. We
Unfortunate
already
day for
knew.
Arena Turismo, regardless.
It's okay. We already knew.
Yeah.
And the 99 is down pit
That's
road.
unfortunate.
Wonder if she might have had some sort of issue because she was running up towards the front, but maybe just too much damage. I'm really I'm just as confused as you are as to why everyone is pitting. So
Yeah. I have to have the pit reporters at least try and come up with something. They're closer to them than us. But as of right now, McJasmina has some clean air in front of her. They're gonna like that.
it's McJasmine out front.
As with Vebelst.
Bevel's back out onto the track. She kind of merged out right. Kind of merged out right where she was before, which is kind of funny.
Sometimes things
Liam, do you have anything?
Okay, a lot of these stops have been pretty quick on the pit lane. I've talked to a few teams, and it's mostly down to protecting the tires. A lot of these, smash ups under caution have caused tire rubs that if we get another long green flag run, these teams don't want to accidentally blow a tire in the middle of the corners. That could end their race for good. So they're taking the risk, bringing them down pit lane for a quick stop, get a bit of damage repaired, and hopefully get back out there to where they don't lose any tires later on in the race.
Interesting strategy. See if it pays off.
I mean,
Because the 3 is way off the pace. Goodness.
I guess it's the thought that counts. But I'm not really sure I see that strategy being particularly... I mean, I guess it's better than totaling the car, but... I'm not sure if pitting... Oh, the 3 just got hooked by the 6 there. I mean, that is Waterton's teammate, so...
Yeah,
maybe she's trying to hold up McJasmine a little bit. Violent. Well, the 3 is teammates with the 13, who's also a Californian, so... Actually, this is all of the Californians right here. Well, except for the 10.
West Coast invades the East Coast. About time, probably. Be real.
I mean, it's true. West Coast is the best coast.
Hey.
What?
I mean, fair, but
right.
also hey. Anyway, but regardless of that, the fact that Angeli Rugatina right now is 4.
Yeah, she was getting lapped earlier and holding up the leaders for quite a while. Now she's in 4th spot. That's just impressive.
Especially for a driver who has a win but is 26th right now in points. This is on a Calder Park, so I guess she has the experience, but 6th. I mean, at this point for the 6th, you are just praying that nothing terrible happens in front of you or to your car. Because having held the race lead for this long, you can say she's probably the best car on track right now.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with that sentiment.
How long Ray might not last.
Whoa, the 92's in the wall! Turned by the 99 of Vebolst. Well, there's the Mauricia moment.
Yep.
92 is no caution. She actually kept it straight, so...
But that's gonna deny it.
Well, yeah, obviously.
As if I had on collision to a wall. And things. Jeez.
I think the 99 got away with that basically scot-free, too, which... That's even funnier. Well, the 92's out.
Yep. Someone in the comments, I know for a fact, just posted AWSCO rigged after watching that, but we'll deal with them later.
What comments? Nobody talks on the live stream.
Well, we'll see. Trust, when I'm in the booth. Anyway. Regardless of that, 26th, Sophia Chantaze is still here, despite nearly ending Felicia Vancy in turn 2 earlier.
Where is the 6? I'm actually trying to find the leaders right now. There she is.
13 just needs to get by to 23, and she's got a clean shot. We'll have to see how it works.
Well, she got by. I think Vebolst is trying to get back on the lead lap here. Well, she's 2 laps down, but if she's able to get by the 13 and the 6, she'll be 1 down. I think she has a little fresher tires than these drivers too, but she's getting a little antsy.
Chantaze becomes the next lap car and is giving 6 just had no room and still made it work. Incredible. Seems like everyone's finally got their pit stuff done for the most part. I haven't seen anyone on pit road so far, so hopefully we're looking at another 100 laps of people trying to get farther up in the race. I think Mick Desmina is basically the target now.
Oh, never mind. There's a crash.
It got worse.
22, 72, 71 all involved. What on earth are they? Okay.
4-3. Oh boy, Desmina almost forced the 22 in the wall.
26 car is going to be the free pass. 34, Harina's out with a with an engine failure of some sort.
Uh-oh. Well. Now we have more pit strategy.
And the 55 is on pit road as well.
I think was the 55 the cause? Oh, 6 is coming down.
6 is in. Not terribly surprising.
Nope. 13 is around. Let's see. Those seem like the leaders.
Liam, what's up?
As the rest of the field sorts this out under caution, we got 2 concurrent engine problems happening. 55 with a minor engine problem. They're on pit road trying to fix it. 34 lost a piston and they are done for the day. That right before the caution came out, and then now we've got the yellow flag. Everybody coming down, taking tires, repairs, fuel on pit road. So a lot of action down here on the pit lane.
I'll say.
And one of these cars exiting. I'd be careful because
again.
of that.
Oh, it happened again. It's Chantizé.
That's not really Chantizé's fault. I mean, it's just the pit exit is...
It's not her fault, but man, maybe the Friday the 13th was Chantizé all along.
The 13 is quite a bit of damage. I believe the 6 has a bit as well.
Yeah,
and that's unfortunate for 2 cars that had been very fast. They looked like they had a great chance to win this race.
Now it's Nihale.
Now the 64 is going to have the lead. We'll see if either of these 2 can continue, but 13's done.
Ooh, 6 done.
Nope, they're going to fix it.
And I mean, you gotta feel for Yanya Waterton. No top 10 so far this season. I mean, that looked like a race she could possibly win with a good pit run, and it's all over. Just like Alicante's. Question to our producer, is Lily Talberson still on track, or did she get taken out earlier?
The 39, I believe, is still running. Yeah, there she is.
Ah.
Looks like the 6 of McJasmine is still running, and in fact is still on the lead lap, so... Alrighty.
Back at it again.
The pace car is going to go off, and we're going to be going green here. Here we go. Green flag is back out. We are once again racing in South Boston. Nihale out front. Rugatino now sits second. Third, it's Hamstrom and Happeman fighting for that spot. Yukovic. This is the battle for 6th. We got another Hoodless Wonder up here. There's the 98 of Ajar Siraj. 71, I believe, had a penalty on the restart. 26 is back on pit road. $11 cars right now scoring on the lead lap. For these cars that are a lap down, they're hoping they can cycle up into, you know, in between the top 10 and catch some of those wave arounds. Not a single car is currently 1 lap down. Everybody is either 2 laps down or more, or they're on the lead lap.
I think interesting thing to look for, Arlen Handstrom. Mason Parker Motorsports keeps coming out of my mouth every time I want to talk about something else. But now they're up to 3rd. This would be, I mean, this is another driver with Rugatino. 2 drivers that were causing problems with lap cars about 100 laps ago.
99 back down.
Now they're top 3 as Ebel.
99 might have had a penalty. She was in the free pass position.
Ugh, that's gotta hurt. Especially for a driver who was, I mean, ahead of just Nihale just a couple laps ago. Again, when you want to take advantage of being ahead of the leader in points, and right now, no one is beating the leader in points on this track right now. As Six has lost pace though, so
Yeah, 6 just clearly doesn't have the pace right now. Well, South Boston has not been kind to some of these drivers.
nope.
See the 15 and the 26 back down again. 26 is back down. That's the second time I think she's come down.
Come on, right in front
I
of
mean,
the pack.
for interesting note here, Carly Byrne in the 9 car up in the 7th spot. She's having a much needed, very much needed solid run right now.
Yeah, oof. Her and McJasmina were, I mean, they were tied on points coming into the day, so you gotta imagine that this is big.
The 6 is about to get put a lap down here. Well, the 64 did pass the 6 on track now. Although I think, obviously there's a bit of an asterisk to that one.
Absolutely.
Rugatino in 2nd now. Hamstrom 3rd, Papham in 4th, Garnston 5th. Of the top 4, there's only one driver in the top 4 that has yet to win a race this season. And it's the 64 of Nahale, ironically enough, who is the points leader.
I gotta imagine that's why Nihale's putting all that she can in this car right now, is that he knows that these 3 drivers behind her, they don't need to win. They're a little bit more comfortable. He's probably most comfortable of them all, but you know she wants that win just to lock things in. And I really think he can try and run with it. Just run with this lead. Hopefully there are not a lot of cautions between now and lap 400, and he does not get caught up in the
I
things
doubt
have
that
caught
that's
some
going to
other
happen.
leaders. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Garnston came very close to winning in Bathurst in the 27 car. Pappman won at Texas, Handstrom won at Bathurst, and Rugatino won at Calder Park. And you see Yukovic here, who won the Daytona 500. There's Carly Byrne, yet to win. Ajarsraj won at Willow Springs. Barriston, last week's winner in Bristol, and then Yanaga, who's yet to win, but she's been pretty strong all season, so a lot of drivers who've won races are up here towards the front. 26 cars are still on the track. '96 is starting to kind of work her way up towards the 64 here. This one's a bit topsy-turvy, but a few more cautions that get placed right, and I think we might see some of these drivers start to get back on the lead lap. You know, if there's another caution, it's very well timed. Could see a bunch of cars that get waved around. Could see a bunch of cars take the free pass. Could even see, you know, a decent number of cars on the lead lap by the time this thing's over, as the 22 has rolled back down the pit lane. Andrea Davison, she was off the lead lap already, I believe. Yeah, the 6 has gone a lap down, so we've now dropped to 10 cars on the lead lap. As we are on lap 193 of 400 in this one.
And I don't know what else you want me to say. This is a real patient game from up here in the booth right now, because you're going to have to see if Rugatino can put in the laps he needs to catch Nihale. Hill has certainly been a problem in this race and might be one of the only consistent drivers in terms of where she's been which has been up front.
Russia.
So
Russia, what do you got on pit road?
Well, Echo. Well, from one of the things that we've been observing here from pit lane is that the stop-start nature with all the cautions and incidents so far have really paved the way for a lot of cars that have started out of the back to make their way forwards. I mean, you can really see that with the car that's sitting in second right now, the 96 of Angeli Rugatino, who started all the way down in 37th, I believe, 37th inside of row 19, yeah. But she's not the only one that's made her way up here. You can see as well, I think well, for one, I think you can see the in 7th place, the 98 of Eva Gersharaj. That's another driver who started near the back, 31st place. That's two drivers who started outside of the top 30. And I think if you move up just a little bit, you can see cars like Arlen Handstrom, who started up in the mid-20s, as we see some
71.
Some smoke there, and I believe that'll be a caution for the... Yep, caution's been called. Well, I'll let you take over again at the booth here, but one of the things we've been seeing, a lot of cars moving up the pack, and we'll see if that continues on as we reach the halfway point just right now.
Yeah, we're just about to say there as they cross the line, it'll be halfway. Well, bit of an interesting game so far. Get that caution right here, right at halfway. I'm not sure what happened to the 71, but we will obviously check that. Here comes the majority of the leaders down pit road.
Oh, this 71, what is happening?
Some cars, I think, got confused as to where they were coming down pit road. It's fine, though.
I can understand at this point in the race, you're just like... You're in conservation mode, just trying to keep your car.
6, McJasmina, is the free pass car. So she'll get back in the lead lap. I can't say exactly for how long she'll be back in the lead lap, but she will be back in the lead lap. Comes everybody exiting pit road in the 96.
96 and 64, yes!
96 got out with the lead.
19 and the...
What?
Oh my god!
Oh, we got a jam up. 27. Garnstone.
Somebody get medical personnel to the 20 garage as soon as possible, and I mean right now. What did I just witness? Remember when I said Gabriella was having a day?
Well, I don't think she's having one anymore.
No, she's not. You took the joke right out of my mouth.
And the 71 is spun again. And the 6 is around.
This is devolved. This is
I don't know. I don't know why. This didn't happen in the Continental race.
And now they're just... Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? The feed has probably been cut after what everyone witnessed was probably the end of the Gabriella. So... I don't know. That was certainly interesting.
27 and 19 are out of the race.
That's gonna... Man, Handstrom and Gardenstone are doing really well, too. Angeli Rugatino, the lead, managed to survive. Whatever that was. Yeah, I'm getting, as we do this on a second monitor, the view we have of that crash, and I mean, that was just completely not the Gabriella's fault. I don't know what Handstrom was thinking, but she just plowed right through Gabriella, and Appleman came in to make it work.
Okay,
By
I
the look of
called
it, by the
yellow, but
time-
it just decided to go green anyways. All right.
Oh, what is
Why
happening?
why is the game like this?
AWSCO official gonna have a field day with this one. Jeez. Up, and there goes Happeman. Okay then. Looking at that replay, it looks like the 27 got knocked out of the race via running into the 19, who was just kind of in the middle of the track. So yeah, it's been a day. As the 6 flies around the track, reaching probably the car's top speed at this point, just to get waved around.
All right. Let's try this restart one more time. '96 free. The 6 was the free pass car. Pace car is off. We'll be going back green here with Rugatino leading the way. Here we go. And we gotta move for the lead. Here comes Nihale. Rugatino held her off.
Oh my
At
goodness.
least she almost did. Alright, well, after whatever happened there, we're going to take you to the FanDuel's fan studio for the mid-race report. Any news down there, Rasha and Liam?
Hi, folks. Folks, welcome
How's it
back to
going?
welcome back to the studio for the mid-race report. Apologies for the delay there. We were just dealing with some technical issues as it appears the officiating booth was having issues as well, getting everyone to line up correctly. But yeah, we're 215 laps into this 400 lap race here at South Boston Speedway, so just over halfway. Angeli Rugatino currently leads in the 96, followed by our pole sitter number 64 of Jocelyn Nihale. I'm back here with Liam for the analysis. Say hi to Liam. Say hi, Liam. And what do you think so far of this race?
I mean, we're back here. Very different story than what we had last night coming into the mid-race report. First half of the race last night was kind of the calm before the storm. And obviously we've pretty much run the entirety of last night's race just to get to halfway here. But chaos on the racetrack. Only 7 cars currently on the lead lap compared to the 22 we had finishing the race on the lead lap last night. So completely different story. We've had some hard crashes. Hoping to get some updates out of the infield care center soon on a couple drivers who've been involved in some hard ones. The 1 and the 20 particularly, 2 nasty hits for those 2 drivers. Caution's back out on the speedway. We got trouble front straightaway.
Looks like a bunch of
And
lap
it's the
cars.
72
yeah, looks like
again.
Just a bunch of lap cars getting in the way of each other there. And never mind, the leaders just plowed into them.
The leaders. Well, something always happens around halfway, doesn't it?
And then all the 39 just filters out of pit lane. Okay, well. And with that, we're back under caution. But yeah, as you were saying.
I was just about to point out that through all this chaos, the 64 has managed to keep a clean race. And, well, You win some, you lose some. Everyone takes a minute at the start-finish line there. Catch their breath, and we're back rolling under caution here.
But yeah, the Atlantic cars I think have been keeping things relatively clean. You have 3 of their cars. Obviously, the 64 just got involved that stack up there, but you also have the 62 and 32 running relatively well so far. They haven't gotten to anything just yet. Given how much of a minefield this track seems to be today, it's a real wonder how that team has been avoiding a lot of incidents so far tonight.
Yeah, really night and day compared to what we saw last night. When we have gotten racing, it's been really good. Oh, 72's out. 60. Overshot it a little bit doing the wave around. Yeah, I mean, night and day compared to last night in terms of just the amount of chaos we've seen on track. But once we have actually gotten them going green, going racing, it's been really good. And I expect to see more of that as we sort of start to weed out the cars that are causing all the incidents. By the time we get down to the cars that are relatively clean left in the field, should be a decent show. 64 and 96, those were the top 2 before that incident. They've both retired due to damage caused by sort of piling into that wreck. That's going to hand the lead over to the 98 car.
Yeah, that's correct. That'll be the night.
That
be the
is
98,
Ava
62,
Azarshiraj.
and 32 in the top 3. And I think the 46 and 9, I think are the other 2 cars on the lead lap, and that'll round out the top 5 pretty much. I think that's pretty much everyone who's contending for the race right now.
Obviously, just over halfway here. Plenty of race to go. Plenty of time for us to get back on the lead lap. With less cars on the track, there's going to be less cars to really pile into in a big way to create a caution. So even 2 laps down, you get a couple minor spins, and you could be back up onto the lead lap. As long as you can keep your car clean. So it's not over yet for anybody who's 1-2 laps down in the field. We're going back green here as Arshiraj going to get the jump and actually going to get a decent gap over the 62 there. That is the 62 of Ali
Yukovic. By the 98. Oh, and already, I think we're already
in trouble. It's
again.
Mauricia Velbost into the 6 car, and the caution's going to come back out. And that's what I was talking about. 60's
That's a quick caution. That'll put the 60 back on the lead lap, yeah. I think that means AWSCO will join them on the top 5 on the lead lap. But yeah, and given the way this race has panned out so far in terms of damage cars, it's having a little bit of damage. It doesn't seem to be that much of a impairment. I mean, most of these cars are beat up pretty badly, I think.
No, I mean, we saw it on the restart there as Arshiraj, no hood on that race car. She was able to get a really solid jump on that restart. Obviously, couldn't do much with it with the yellow coming right back out, but she was quick, and even those cars behind her, 62, 32, both weren't able to catch her on the restart. So it should be interesting to see how that develops with these damaged cars. The 60 now back with lap looked like one of the cleanest cars on the track right now. So
we'll get a replay of what happened here. 99 seems to just
yeah, taking the green.
I think
99 just too quick, gets into the 6, cleans her out.
Yeah, she just took too much speed into the pack there.
Little too
trying to wave
take
around,
the restart.
I think she was trying to wave around, trying to catch the field, but yeah, she just carried a little too much speed into the restart and spun the 6 out at the front there. So yeah, seems to be it might just be a Mauricia Velbost moment, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean we've seen a couple of this race so far, so
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, now with 6 cars on the lead lap, there's not that many cars that's really being considered for the win right now. But Liam, do you have anybody in mind as to who would be able to win this race? I think with
I mean, my race pick got cleaned out 2 cautions ago. The 64, who I was watching from the start of this race, she was doing a great job keeping the car clean up until obviously retiring out. It's anybody's race, but I'm going to go for one of her teammates here. I'm actually going to take I think I'm going to take Cindy Rairston in that 32 car. Car's still relatively clean. Been pretty quiet today, but 32's been up front most of the day. I could see that Jack in the Box 32 bringing it around victory lane at the end of this thing.
Yeah, that's certainly a fair assessment to make. I mean, it's best to have a car that's clean. It doesn't damage doesn't seem to hurt you too much, but I don't think it would hurt to have a car that has a hood on it or any kind of front end. To be fair, me personally, I'm gonna look a little bit further back. I'm gonna go with the number 9 of Carly Bird, I believe. That's the correct Bird
Yes.
sister. Sometimes I get those the Bird sisters mixed up, but yeah, I think I got it right this time. Driving the number 9.
Yep, Carly in the 9.
Yeah, number 9 pilot flying J Mercedes AMG. He's one of the drivers that I've been keeping an eye. She's one of the drivers that I've been keeping an eye on at this race, and she hasn't made that many spectacular moments at this race yet. But this doesn't feel like a kind of race where you really want to be making too many spectacular moves. That seems to backfire in people's face. That seems to backfire in your face when you try to make a bold move. So I think that going at it slow and steady might very well be the key to winning this race, and I think that number 9 car might have what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, now we're back green.
Yep.
Made it a lap this time. We've got our race picks in. I think it's time to send it back up to the booth.
Yeah, Eddie and
Echo
Echo
and
have
Eddie to
their
take
picks
over
as
here.
well, so we'll send it back over to the booth for the rest of the race, and we'll be back
And we
on pit
will-
lane making reports for you guys.
For sure.
Eddie, you got a fan pick here?
I was gonna go with Carly Byrne until that disaster class to the start. So I'm gonna expect it not to be her. Let's just go with Yanaga. I mean, this is... Genfi is now in the spot Nihale was for most of this race, and just someone who's really good but needs a win. And let's be honest, this would be really funny if Yanaga suffers whatever first we've been seeing so far in that. Well, maybe she has a chance to win and then immediately wreck, because that is just how tonight is going.
All right, well, I'm gonna take the 98 of AWSCO. I mean, that car doesn't have a hood, but I don't think that's a problem. If you see how fast this car is running right now, I think she's got a great chance to win this race. I think I'll take a Zarsuraj to win this one. Those are your FanDuel fan picks. We saw AWSCO, who had gotten the free pass in the last caution, came back down pit road. I'm not sure if she had some kind of damage or not, but the 60 clearly did not have a very good did not have a very good restart. Liam, you got a report on Abby Little?
Yeah, they're reporting an engine issue in that 71 car. She came down pit lane. I haven't seen her leave pit lane yet. Might be out of the race. Yeah, it was a gearbox problem for that team. Not what you want to see. Obviously survived most of the chaos in this race so far, but car conked out at halfway, and that Monster Energy team's going home for the night.
You know, it'd be interesting if Cindy Harrison's able to pull off back-to-back wins. I mean, nobody in Cup has even won multiple races, and of the 5 drivers on the lead lap, only 2 don't have a win yet, and those would be Yanaga and Byrne.
Much as I think Byrne needs it, I don't think her car is really cooperating right now, so...
I mean, there's still at least one pit stop remaining, so could get some adjustments on it.
Lori Schliesenbach is... It's so funny looking at Lauren Schliesenbach knowing she's in 9th and just a lap car. That's really summing up this race in its entirety.
I mean, the spot she's in, not terrible.
Oh. All it takes is a couple other
If
guys
she needs just
out.
one she just needs one caution, and she'd get that wave around. I think another. I guess another pick. I think I feel fairly confident in talking about. You know, Marisha Vebelst. She's had multiple issues, had multiple times that she's had to come to down pit road, but this car's still clearly very fast, and if she can get a couple more yellows to play her way, She could be right in the mix for the win here.
Next, outside of the 93, who I believe is Tosima out?
Yeah, the 93's have been out.
I've not seen her. Yes. Outside of that, I mean, this is a great day for Evans Ross Racing. All three of their drivers in the top 10, and
Yeah.
realistically, you could see a lot of them with cautions waving around. If they can stay out of trouble, I mean, 3 drivers in the top 10 on a day like today is, I mean, something you gotta believe. Everyone in that organization would be happy with, including, yeah, everyone.
98 lapping the 6 here. And I mean, that's the thing, as we saw in the Continental race, that, you know, towards the end, there wasn't a lot of lap traffic. There was a lot of lap traffic that kind of, you know, compressed everybody for the finish. We only have 17 cars running in this race, so we might not see that much lap traffic dictate. Oh, as the 55 has
The 55 gets
spun, and the 22 has an issue.
Ugh.
And that will bring out the caution once again.
Andrea Davison really needed a good race here on the cut line right now. Yeah, that just sucks. No other way to say it.
99 of Vebels does get the free pass this caution, so she'll be up to 1 lap down.
Question now becomes pit strategy, because you could you go down now, but you'd not have enough fuel.
Yeah, everyone's gonna pit now.
Ooh,
Okay.
As soon as I said it, I said Evans Ross Racing need to stay out of trouble. And hopefully
Not much that could have been done there.
No. They're gonna have to check that. Hopefully they can get that fixed.
Liam, you got anything on the 22 of Davison?
It's another gearbox problem that's going to put another car out of this race. Obviously the caution happened pretty much right in the exact same spot. The 22 blowing her engine. Not sure if that had anything to do with it slowing down. Couldn't grab a shift in time, but yeah, another gearbox problem is going to knock another car out of the race, and it's not going to be manufacturer specific because we've lost a Ford and now we've lost a Ford and a
Chevy.
I've lost the manufacturer and a Chevy to gearbox issues. So it's all around here tonight at South Boston.
Rasha, what's
Top
up?
5 made it out.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to Liam's point about all these about these problems, mechanical problems. We've seen multiple gearbox problems right off the bat right here, but we've been seeing a higher number of problems with the powertrain and the drivetrain just in general in this race compared to the Continental cars, and I wonder if that's also playing into the increased number of incidents we're seeing, because you're seeing a lot of cars moving in and out of pit lane. And we're seeing a lot of cars off the pace, and that's the kind of thing that causes these, that's seemingly causing most of these incidents, I should say. Most of these problems have been symptoms of the narrow pit lane, pit road exit. It just kind of traffic playing a role, and I think some of these drivers are starting to get impatient over time, and that's what's leading to these slower cars getting moved out of the way, and that's caused some cautions, I think. So we'll just have to see over time as we see the 99 take off their hood. That seems to be in vogue now. Take it back to you now for the green flag restarts.
99.
There we go. We're back to green.
I think we did lose the 39.
Yeah, Talberson retired.
Oh, man.
I mean, she's gonna finish 16th, so. As the 46 has come down the pit road, I think she might have gotten a penalty.
Al put her a lap down.
I believe it'll put her a lap down.
And at that point, that's one caution away. But we're getting to the point where there's just not enough cars. Where there might not be another caution the rest of this race. I mean, I know.
Yeah,
will still get
I
goofy.
don't think you should say that at all.
It could happen.
.46 is down again. She got another penalty, and that might just take her out completely. And it looks like she's staying out this time, so might have just gotten penalized and then penalized again. Well, 4 cars are on the lead lap. Not exactly a stellar show, but a lot of these drivers are going to try and make this race at least a little competitive. Ivo Jarsaraj continues to lead in this banged up car.
Question here for me is, I feel like these Atlantic drivers, I mean, they could realistically work together and make this a 1-2. I'm unsure of whether it's Jarsaraj is, I mean, just whipping it around this place with that car, and it's just, they cannot get close enough to her.
I mean, the 98's clearly very fast. I mean, she's at least keeping a little bit. She's keeping more pace than these two. Jukovic and Rariston, you know, all of these three, all of the top 3 have won a race this season, so
And at that point, that makes sense. These drivers,
and the
they know.
55. Oh, there goes the rest of the
Finally.
engine. She was having issues.
Up. Big boom.
And that's going to drop us down to 14 cars running. Liam, what's up?
And to tack on to more engine problems tonight, Briatolad down, another Ford out of the race. Big time explosion in that engine. I mean, you could see it right there. I don't need to tell you the technicals of it. That car is done for the day.
Jarsaraj continues to lead. Jukovic second. Here comes Rariston trying to take that second spot, though, from her teammate.
Skin, alright. You've not seen any of these. It's just occurred to me that we have not seen a long run since the start of this race.
Yeah, we really haven't.
And I think what we were seeing with the speed here is that maybe our Jarsaraj can do. Maybe this is where Atlantic can catch him, is on the longer runs, and that the short runs have been benefiting Eva to this point. But we're gonna have to see on that, because I'm starting to think they're losing a bit of time to a Jarsaraj. Not that lap at least.
Jarsaraj, Jukovic, Rariston, Byrne, the top 4. Has not changed since the restart.
Random appearance, Yappy Malikson into the top 10 for the first time all day. 3 laps
running
down.
10th.
And
3 laps down, but, I mean, gotta be worth something.
benefited a lot, yeah. Sophia Chances still being on the racetrack, I think, is a bit unreal to me. That car has gone through so much punishment, and the fact that that car is still out here is...
That 26 really hasn't been involved in a lot. I mean, it's very clean. Well, fairly clean.
Really. We gotta compare that to what a Jartha Raj is driving. Which...
Well,
man,
compared to the 99 here.
Yeah. It's interesting for a Jartha Raj because you would expect he's not really a modified driver. She's again
she's
karting and endurance racing with
yeah, she's
background.
She's got more of an endurance background, but
It's working out here. I mean, she's definitely pulling that thing around against 62 and 32. So hidden talents. Sometimes they can really come to your aid in races like these. It's gonna really help her at this point. Yeah, she's getting by.
just going to negotiate the lap traffic here.
Looks like we've lost a couple cars. Are we still at 14?
Yes, we are still at 14.
Ooh, alright.
That's just how little space is occupied by the track when there's only 14 cars on track.
Yeah.
Here comes Raristoun for the
Atlantic
second
racing
spot.
explodes.
Raristoun's going to pull up to the inside on Yukovic. And I think Raristoun has the faster car here. I think the 32 is faster than the 62 right now.
Yep. At this point, with everyone out, does Yukovic take the points lead with a win? Does Nihil, Alicantes, and Garnstone with those races? I believe Yukovic is only 21 back of Nihil.
How far ahead is Nihil in points again?
21.
21.
Given, I think Nihil's all of them are in the top
maybe
20.
I don't know. Where the 64 is 19th, so I'm not even really sure. The 64 might actually keep it.
Yeah, barely.
'46 and the 99 are racing each other for the lucky dog position. I think the 32 is definitely faster than the 62. I'm not sure if she's faster than the 98. She just ran a tenth of a second faster that time, so. She closed in there. Even though she ran a bit of a suboptimal line, she slid up the track a little bit. She still closed in on the 98. I think this 32, I think where she can take advantage is once the 98 catches that lap car of the 31. So that 31 doesn't look ultra slow. I think that's where the 32 is going to have the best shot to make her move.
I would agree. Nearing the 100 laps to go mark.
98 slips a little bit. Here comes Raristoun to the inside.
Here we go.
Gonna make the look. She's gotten underneath as Jartha, and I think she'll get the lead here. Yes, she does. New leader, 32 car, Cynthia Raristoun up front. And last week's winner in Bristol. Back out front at a short track as we've just taken 100 laps to go.
This might be the I don't want to say the warning sign, but this might be the showing that proves that Cynthia Raristoun might be the most dangerous short track driver we have. in the field. It would certainly clinch it if she holds on to win here. Back to back.
She's already driving away right now.
Yeah. I mean,
fighting for second is Jarsaraj and Yukovic. Then you got Byrne back here in fourth. We might see a fight for fifth soon between Vebelst and Yanaga. These two, 2 laps down, but still up here. Seventh, as Alicia Byrne tops the wall. 60 and the 91 would be fighting for that, and then the 8, 9th, what's the other car? Oh, it's the 23 of Yappy Malikson. She's 10th, 3 laps down.
I just realized something else. Big day for the Byrne family. If this holds, Byrne's sister's first time both are in the top 10 all season.
That's pretty good for those two who've just not had very good luck this year.
Nope. Albeit, Alicia is in 17th, right on the cut line. This would definitely benefit, given Cole, Stoneman, and Davison. A lot of the drivers behind her are kind of not on track right now. I think at this point, we're just going to see people fighting just to stay on track.
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's kind of what's...
Being on track is where you want to be.
That's kind of what's going on. Jarsaraj still second with this car. But I'm not sure how long she's going to keep that, because she's kind of not being able to get by the 6 right now. Yeah, she'll finally be able to duck under McJasmina. 6 cars now 5 laps down. Malikson's about to go a 4th lap down here. And the 32 is just driving away. I mean, Rarison is just gone.
That Jack the Box car might just be it on the short tracks. Might be how we learned that. I mean,
that car started towards the back, and it's moved up front all day. Now she's in the lead by quite a ways. Well, next week, no more short tracks. We're going to Pocono in the Cup Series.
yeah.
The PPL 500 from the Tricky Triangle. 200 laps from that 2.5 mile speedway. And the Continental Series is live too. It'll be from Hillside.
Those will be 2 fun tracks.
Yeah.
I get excited for those. Just thought of something too. Technically, and I'm saying this on a technicality, because I'm counting the Daytona backstretch main event and not the heat races. Finley Raristoun, on a track shorter than 1 mile, has never finished lower than 3rd so far this season. I know there's only been 3 races. I know that's a small group to count it on, but this is a car that, when the track is less than 1 mile, we would assume to be called short tracks, it's really good. It's hooked up. And with a track like North Wilkesboro and Martinsville in the playoff, you kind of got to believe that only Raristoun could, be a final, could be a contender in round 3 of the playoff. And, and possibly get to round 4. In terms of thinking that far ahead in the season.
Yeah, they clearly have something. They clearly have something cooked up here on these short tracks. These are 2 lap cars fighting in front of the 2 fighting for second.
Barina's an interesting day. That car at some point just seemed to immediately fall off the pace, and yet, despite, I think, being in an accident as a lap car, has just kind of stuck around.
The Hungarian and the Croatian fighting for second. I'm sure there's no long-lasting tensions between these 2 countries.
Let's hope it doesn't spill out here at this point. We've already seen what happened to Gabriella. We don't need anyone else getting right hooked. Or even left hooked. Left hook would probably be worse at this point. Yeah, he's gonna let him fight.
Just let him go. I mean, I don't think Yappy can do much anyways. Interesting. This is still there might still be a fight for fifth between Vebelst and Yoniga if there's no more cautions. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to jinx it, but you did say earlier, there might not be enough cars on track to cause a caution. I'm not gonna say that won't happen, because if I say there won't be another caution, there's going to be another caution.
It's up to if these cars can withstand it. I don't think there would be one unless someone, blows an engine. It could still happen, but I think it would take a really bad mechanical failure and just wrong place, wrong time for something to happen. But this race, who knows? With this race, who knows?
Yeah. Cynthia Mariston has a 3.6 second lead right now. So she has pulled out and away from everybody else here.
At what point does the 9 start to be in danger of getting lapped? Because I think that'd be a really interesting point of this race.
Well, lap times are about 15 seconds. So the 9 still has a decent cushion to fall back on before she gets lapped.
The Marisha's gonna hope she holds on to it at this point, because all it takes is one. All it takes is one caution. Unfortunately, probably 2 at this point for Marisha. But
well, yeah, it would take 2 yellows for the 99 to get back on the lead lap.
91. All around.
Anyone's 2 down. So Yukovic still kind of trying to make up ground on the 98. I think the 62 is faster than the 98. Just can't really make that stick right now, as the 32 is having trouble getting around the 91. She'll look to the bottom. And she'll get clear to the bottom. She'll look to the bottom of the 31 of Happelman here, and I believe she'll try to get by the 31 a second time.
Got it.
I mean,
just that easy.
I mean, when you have this fast of a car, I think it's just that easy no matter what. I mean, this 32 clearly is the strongest car, at least right now. If there's another caution, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw somebody like the 62, or maybe even the 98 with all that damage, able to get back by. And
I would say, I think, in terms of a strategic point, if it comes down to a late restart, I think the 62 would be going with the 32 no matter what. The 98 would have to really fight to get around the 32, because those Atlantic racing cars would be fighting for the 1-2, definitely not letting Pajor Thoraj take a win from that organization, but I mean, this is the wait and see game at this point, waiting and seeing if a caution comes out, or if Cindy Rairston suddenly loses a whole lot of time to Pajor Thoraj.
Trust the nine will win the race. Trust.
It could happen. A Burn sister win in this race would, I mean, I can say feed families, but it would at least mean this
It would
was
feed
all
me.
for something. All right, then I guess it would feed someone. It wouldn't feed me, but I would say, from a personal standpoint, it would be the perfect cherry on top for what this race has been, to see Carly Byrne lock herself into a playoff spot from 33rd in this race. But you better start praying for miracles if you want that, because 50 laps in the way the Rairston is running.
Rairston hasn't particularly gained a bunch of time lately. It's down.
No.
The gap's down to 2.73. Granted, she's also running behind some lap traffic.
Like AWSCO.
AWSCO in the 60.
Another driver outside the top 30.
Yeah.
Still alive.
I mean, she's still in 7th. This is still a pretty solid run.
Her Byrne, and Barino are going to get a lot of help here. Gleason Bach, I guess you can add to that a little bit, although she's not top 30. But those drivers are going to get a little bit of a bump simply just by surviving this long.
I think something happened to the 62 because she suddenly lost like 6 seconds.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm not sure where that came from. Why is the 62?
She maybe grazed, not, I won't say she grazed the wall, but do you think that, or is it lap traffic issue? Because you're getting around the 31.
No, I think I don't think she would lose that much time just from that. I mean, the tires are starting to wear out quite a bit, so
Oh, pit stop. That might be a game changer.
I don't think we're gonna see pit stops. I mean, I guess we could, but I don't think we're gonna see them.
Right to the pit. That's a West Coast.
Harrison will get by the 60. Curious to see. I do want to see if something happened to the 62. She's right behind the. She's pretty much right behind the 98 here.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's what
Told you.
happened. What do you mean told you? I said that I said that happened.
I thought I said it too.
Nope.
I did. I know I did.
That was not a caution. They chose to keep it green.
Yep.
I'm sure that a few drivers are not particularly happy about that not being a yellow, but not much you can do right now. Janiga has taken
46 up,
fifth
that's it.
away. Janiga has taken 5th away from Vebelst. The 32 is just stuck in all this traffic. That's let the 98
The
close
98,
quite a bit.
3 cars. Yeah, but 3 cars.
There's a lot of cars in between though, and the 98's going to have to get through all of that as well.
And none of them are the free pass, so if there is a caution.
Well, they
That's
would
the
be
retard.
they would be wave around cars if we got a yellow. Considering that they're in between lead lap cars.
I don't care. Charlie Byrne got a little bit of time back there. Weird. Ooh. Oh no, let's go. Never mind.
I think the 9's not stuck behind the 99 anymore, so I think that might be why. Yeah, now the 98's going to have to get through all this. And yeah, it's costing her time. Gap's down to 2.5 seconds. And it's only going to increase now that she's continuing to have to get through this 2.76 that time. Fifth place, right there, the 46. I don't believe this would be the least amount of cars we'd have on the lead lap for one of these races. I believe Daytona had less. Actually, Daytona had 4, exactly. Oh, and the caution is out. Well, there it is.
It's out again. Was it?
I can't tell.
Did we have a debris caution with 40 laps left? Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna see what it was. I'll figure it out. Free pass will be the 46 of Yoniga. I'm just gonna wait to see if they pit or not.
Well, look like it.
Lost. Apparently Liam lost his shoe.
Oh my god, Liam.
Alright, well.
He's not gonna be let back in the garage again. That's gonna... Well, maybe he will. It might anger a couple teams not to let him anywhere near their garages, specifically. The outcome of this race.
Never mind, it was under the desk, false alarm.
Oh, brother. What comes out?
Right there. I don't see anything. Yeah, I guess it was just a debris yellow or something.
Because AWSCO comes down to pit.
60 car came down. So did the net 31. Well, that's going to give Ajar Siraj a pretty good chance.
We are 7 minutes away from crossing the gate line on the East Coast, so midnight winter might be incoming.
They've given all these cars the wave around, so we're going to take the green. There's going to be 30 laps to go when we get the green flag. Four cars on the lead lap right now. We will see if it stays that way by the end of this race.
$30 laps.
30 to go. Why did NR just tab itself out? Okay, we're back to green.
It does not want to be here anymore. That's
I
the
don't
62.
62 slipped a little wide.
9 didn't have enough of a run to get under. 60 might be the most dangerous car on track right now, given that I think he took tires.
60 and 31, in fact, took tires.
They're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
come
look at
to
that.
flooded,
Look at how much they're flying
Yep.
right now.
Oof.
60
As
and
the
31
98s.
both I would be very concerned about. 98 sticking with the 32 right now.
Looking for the high run there. The 31 put the 60 on the outside for now.
They're showing what fresh tires mean. They're
Maybe
getting,
too fresh.
they're still battling each. They're actually battling each other now. I can't help.
I might save Yukovic here a little bit. Yukovic can get her tires warmed up while these guys fight. But I don't know how much that's going to help at this point, because, I mean, Sinley is gone. Darth Garage is just fighting to hold on. But they
60.
could cause an issue.
Dude, look at how far the 60 drives it into the corner.
That's... Wesco just wants to stay 2 laps down. There's got to be some incentive behind that. He's putting in the craziest move. Here they get, I don't know, ice cream. He's trying to go on the, oh, never mind. Tried to go on the outside, didn't work. Maybe it did. I lied.
Well, she stayed to the outside of the 31. I mean, I think if you're a Jarsaraj, what you're now going to hope for, one of these 2 cars, you let them by, you let them pass you. You hope that they shove the 32 out of the way and that you can catch up and pass the 32 and just hold on.
I was thinking the exact same thing, but they're too busy battling with each other.
They're battling each other.
It's funnier too, because Appleman and Wesco are both Chevy drivers.
Yep.
So this is
Well, you can't tell that from the 31's front end, but...
No, you can't. Chevy on Chevy randomness, and the Ford is the one suffering because of it.
Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Chevy's not going to win.
Nope.
Pretty sure the 60 is actually the highest running Chevy right now.
You think this might be a little bit of a Chevy team order in terms of screwing the Ford out of the
23?
race win?
The 23 is behind the 60.
Sorry, we got a call from our statistician who apparently does not know what's happening anymore.
The statistician our statistician is, it needs to be fired. Okay, maybe that's a little too far.
I think we just need to let him rest. It's been a week, early for all of us here at AWSCO. We're just a night. You could just say a night. This has been a night of all time. So, and let him sleep. See if he does anything better next time. We're closing in on 10, and I think, yeah. Nothing else to say. Lori Schliesenbach top 10. Uberman Enterprises is going to feel good about that one, just keeping that car on track.
Yeah. Whoa.
Jeez, guys, calm it down.
Now the 31 gets underneath the 98. Yeah, now look at how fast that 31's going to get away. And I think this is what the 98's going to want to see is, you know, hopefully she's hoping that the 31 and the 60 can spend enough time fighting with the 32 and shoving her out of the way that it gets the 98 a chance to get up to her and steal this one.
And they're certainly catching her.
And they're battling each other again.
I think Jasmina might also cause problems.
Yeah, the 6 is also going to probably hold them up a bit as well.
Oh boy. 32 is, I mean, that's a rock and a hard place at this point. We know how hard Mick Jasmina's been to pass so far, but with 5 laps to go, It may not matter, and it's not going to.
I missed our Windows 11 to go. We reached our Windows 11 to go like 7 laps ago. $31 by the 6th. The 60 is by. I mean, at this point, I think it's a little too late for anything that Ajar Siraj is hoping for, unless 32 has a mechanical issue.
Yep.
I think if you're Rariston, the smart thing is you just lay over and let these two pass.
Mm-hmm.
And don't give up too much time doing that. Or just make them battle behind you. I guess that also can work. 2 laps to go for Cynthia Rariston, trying to go back to back. A white flag will come out for the driver from Tempe, Arizona. She's not a woman of much words, but she's let her on-track driving do the talking. The last 2 weeks, led over 100 laps in both of the last 2 races, and she's going to take the checkered flag again. 2 in a row. Cynthia Rariston wins in South Boston.
As 60 retires at the end of the race.
60 crossed the line. Just, the 60 crossed the line. She just retired before the last car crossed the line, so it's just...
Did Appleman retired late there, too? I mean, I guess that makes sense. 14 cars survived, regardless.
Well, definitely a race some drivers would want to forget, but some drivers would want to remember. I think Cynthia Rariston would want to remember that one.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was going to make a joke about 13 finishers on Friday the 13th, but we are now Saturday the 14th, and there are 14 finishers. So, I'm not going to still can't make that joke, I guess. But regardless, I thought that was absolutely the train wreck that I thought it was going to be. Having no expectations, I guess, kind of helped me stay a little bit sane throughout that race, although I still would like to see if DeGabriella is all right. Yeah, turns out this flasher in this horror movie was just the track itself, because goodness did it do a number on the entire field and on us. That's about all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, still an exciting race overall. We saw a competitive battle for the win, but after a while, it became pretty clear who was going to take the win. And Cynthia Rariston, I mean, you just got to give it to her. She's just that good on these tracks. 16 lead changers, 9 different leaders. Well, we're going to send you to the FanDuel Fan Studio for the post-race show and see what they have to say about the end of this one.
Alright, hello, welcome back everyone to the infield here at South Boston Speedway. As you can see around us here, there's a lot of bits and pieces of broken up race car being towed around us right now, which I think kind of just shows the general nature of the race we just had here.
Yeah, I mean, found my shoe. It was under the desk. Yeah, just a crazy race. I mean, this is sort of when we were on the pre-race show last night, and we were talking about what do we expect from these short tracks. We had expected chaos. We didn't expect them to have 22 finishers last night, and I think tonight we got what we sort of expected at the beginning of this race weekend. And
yeah, certainly with it being
great
400 laps.
Great showing from Cynthia Rariston today. All of Atlantic Racing was just absolutely dialed in, led most of the race as a team combined. Obviously 64 retired early. 32 managed to pick it up and finish off what their team started at the beginning of the weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, good results, of course, for those. Pretty much any, for the cars that finished on the lead lap, certainly good results to take away. Good runs by the 62 and 32. Of course, the 98 finished second without a hood, or really a front end in general. So yeah, good showing from the 98 team. I think our Josh has been a surprise package this season. We talked about how he had drivers from diverse backgrounds coming into this series. So Josh Raj, of course, coming in from a very different background in sports car racing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking early on in the season about how that might affect her, how she's going, whether or not she'll be able to adapt to the season, to the way stock car racing works here in North America. And so far, I think she's done a pretty excellent job. I think. I mean, she's already got a win. And, she's running there and thereabouts in the top 10 in points. I think she's just outside. And, well, this result is going to definitely help her climb up the standings. But, yeah, I think Avia Garsharaj and I think as a whole, I think Mason Parker Motorsports as a whole has been a pretty good team. Especially those three cars. Considering all four cars coming into this race were in the playoffs.
Yeah, Rasha. I mean, I was on the broadcast for the Clash right at the start of this very season, and we were talking about how Ava's sports car background might have hindered her in some of the skills here in oval racing. And I mean, she ended up being really quick all Clash weekend. She's won a race already this season, like you mentioned, and she's put in another great performance at a short track here. So, I mean, Ava Zarsharaj, she's been adapting just fine to the racing style on this side of the pond.
Yeah. As for the last car that finished on the lead lap, I have to give a shout out to Carly Byrne, who hasn't had the greatest of seasons so far. Hasn't had much luck, to say the least. Bringing it home and getting a top 5 in a race where a lot of drivers, I think, would have killed for a top 5 in this one.
Yeah, Carly, great race from her as well. Everybody in the top 4, obviously, for staying on the lead lap. Even some stories about cars that just managed to finish today. Great showings from some of them. Obviously, I want to point out, Yappy Malik's in that car, you couldn't even tell it was a Chevy anymore. No front end, no rear end on that 23 car. Managed to bring it home only 3 laps down for a top 10. So, not a bad day at all for that 23 team.
Yeah, pretty much. I think if you look at around the rest of the field, I think AWSCO had a pretty decent race, considering she was kind of caught up in a bunch of different things all at once, basically. And I feel like whenever she did get find a chance to get back 2 or 1 lap down, something else hit her along the way. So to bring it home in a relatively good shape in the top 10. I think only 2 laps down at the end there. Pretty good results for her.
I mean, that 60 team was plagued with issues all day, whether it was mechanical issues from a crash, or in the case of, getting a free pass and there's just not being in the right spot on the racetrack, to where they ended up getting another black flag that basically just erased that free pass to put them back on the lead lap. Great way to climb back to 9th place finish today.
Yeah, and I want to touch on the mechanical issues and other kinds of attrition that we saw again tonight here. I mean, that wasn't something we saw too much of in the Continental race, and I guess we were expecting a slight increase in the amount of attrition, in the amount of mechanical attrition that we'd see, given that this race is 400 laps, and the Continental race was 250. But I think it ramped up a lot more than I think I expected personally, and I think that definitely played a role in creating that kind of mixed pace traffic, and that's the kind of thing that creates problems at short track. There's not a lot of room to move around, and when you got cars moving at a much slower pace than you are, it's one thing to deal with lap cars, but it's another thing to be dealing with lap cars that may or may not pull into pit lane at any point in time. Not to mention pit lane being the exit of pit lane being its own can of worms, as we saw yet another car flip on the pit barrels. So make that 2 in 2 races,
2 in 2 races, really a rarity you don't see very often now. You said it last night, I believe it was on the pre-race show, that some of these Cup Series teams would be looking at the Continental Series race, trying to share information, sort of figure out how this track runs, because of the fact that they haven't run a short track like this before. Unfortunately, I think they took it a little too literally, because most of these cars could not make it 250 laps tonight, let alone 400.
Yeah, I think so. There might have been just a little bit too much beating and banging for these cars to handle. But of course, these cars are built pretty differently from the Continental
Very.
car, so that might have played a role.
Continental cars are a lot smaller, so they had a lot more room to move around on the racetrack. These cars, much bigger. I mentioned on the pre-race show tonight, land boats. These Cup cars, and they really made it show tonight. But it was a great race altogether, I think.
Yeah, I think the racing itself was still pretty nice. All right, and I think that'll wrap it up for our FanDuel post-race show here in the infield studio. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure having you join me here for the in the studio segments, I guess, and also in pit lane. Great working with you, Liam. And with that, we'll take it back to the booth where Echo will give her closing statements and we'll wrap up our broadcast tonight.
Yeah, and
That's Russia. Send it back up there.
Yeah, and overall, just a very interesting race. A lot of different things that changed overall, but in the end, it was Finley Raristoun who was able to get a back-to-back short track victories. We'll be back next week in Pocono and at Hillside. I hope you guys will enjoy those races as we go up northeast for the first time this year. And I hope you all enjoyed this one. With that being said, as a matter of fact, I hope you all have a good night, and I hope you enjoyed this race.